On September 20th, the iPhone 16 was released to the world, and I, along with many, decided that all of the features Apple announced with this phone was finally enough to upgrade. Bigger battery, camera control, the action button, a better glass, and the biggest feature of all, Apple Intelligence. 2 months later, though, was the $1,200 price tag really worth the upgrade? Or was it another year of Apple releasing the same phone with minor improvements?
Starting with the battery life, one of the most important features of a phone, and a feature that everyone expects to improve on a yearly basis. With my recent trip to Philadelphia, I took it as a good opportunity to test the battery on a full day's use. From waking up at 4:30 Eastern, using the phone to text, browse social media, access my boarding pass, and stream music and video until 9:30 p.m. My 16 Pro Max went through just about 80% battery in 17 hours. Now, Apple boasts upwards of 29 hours to stream video and 33 hours of downloaded content.
So, given my current testing and experience with this phone on a daily basis, I think that the boasted hours of video playback would probably be possible. However, I think that it's kind of impractical to only stream video on the phone when you can use it for so much more on a daily basis.
I do feel that applications like FaceTime and recording in 4K ProRes take up much more processing power and could be the reason for the faster battery drain. 4K ProRes is beautiful on the iPhone 16. ProRes log is even better, and Apple finally bringing 4K log video to the iPhone really brings another level to the phone. However, if you didn't opt for larger storage or have some sort of external drive to have connected to your phone, you can realistically only get about 20 minutes of footage. Filming in darker settings has been much better on the 16 Pro Max compared to my 12 Pro Max, and the audio mix feature has been pretty fun to play around with. I think it makes the audio sound a little odd, but I love the ability to cancel out echo without needing soundproofing all over your room.
So, just as an example, if I am walking around my house talking right now, right, the normal audio mic still picks up a lot of the echo around my house. My walls are pretty barren and there's not much going on. But if I choose to do something like the in frame audio option, I think that it reduces echo pretty well and you can mostly just hear my voice. It sounds good. It does sound almost a little bit bassier, but overall, it sounds good. If I do something like the studio option, I think it sounds pretty similar to the in-frame option. If I do the cinematic mode, I think you can probably hear the echo a little bit more. It's meant to pick up background noise, but I still think it sounds good.
Taking pictures and shooting video has honestly been way easier to do with on screen controls as opposed to the new camera control button. The location of the button is just inconvenient for portrait shots. It doesn't make any sense and it's really awkward to hold and use with one hand, and even with two hands, portrait pictures are just weird. In landscape, I think the button is a little far up the phone and it's still awkward to hold. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't sense my finger very well, and honestly, I feel like I have to go out of my way to use camera control. I do like the photo search with camera control. If you hold down the control button and you aim and click to take a picture, photo recognition will find an object on the screen and allow you to do an image search. I find it useful for some occasions, and I like it for the few occasions that I have needed it, but that is probably the only feature I genuinely like about camera control. The action button, on the other hand, I like so much more than just the silent toggle button. This year, Apple released the action button on all models, and the customization is such a nice feature to have. If you only want to toggle silent mode, focus mode, or even your flashlight, you are more than able to. However, I like to have the action button set to a shortcut folder. I think this brings so much functionality to a single button on the phone. I can still toggle silent, toggle my alarms, and quickly text my girlfriend. If there's any shortcuts I want to add in the future, it's super simple, and the action button is really a big win. A not so big win, in my opinion, is the ceramic glass. In my 2 months of very careful use with this phone, I've already managed to acquire quite a few micro scratches at the top of my screen, and I have no clue where they came from. Maybe on a non ceramic shield screen, I would have more by now, but the world may never know. I will probably end up getting a screen protector for my phone, and I actually went ahead and ordered a moft case for my phone. They look super nice, people seem to enjoy them, and I'm excited to try out a new brand. The largest feature, and the feature I think everybody was most excited about, was Apple Intelligence. And this was a mix of being a really big letdown along with some exciting features. The entire launch event was about Apple Intelligence, yet the phone didn't even come with iOS 18 or any Apple Intelligence features. If you put that aside and you updated to iOS 18 and requested access to the Apple Intelligence features, then you had some new fun features to explore, and there really weren't that many. Now that we're on to beta 18.2 and have the image search, Genmoji, and ChatGPT integration, I'm finally starting to feel like I got the features I was promised on the release of this phone. Now, if you're looking to upgrade and Apple Intelligence is the only feature that is really standing out to you, I would probably just wait for the 17 to come out because by then, hopefully, all of the Apple Intelligence features will be fully released. I have seen other people making posts about the temperature on the phone, and I also experience very warm temperatures, sometimes doing pretty simple tasks. I find that the phone gets very hot on FaceTime, and even after filming video clips, right under the camera gets very, very warm. Now, iPhones I feel like have typically always ran warm when doing things like FaceTime. However, the other day I was on FaceTime and the entire bezel of the phone was pretty warm to the touch.
Now, I think that the iPhone 16 is honestly worth the upgrade. If you're someone like me who came from a 12, it's completely worth the money. And I may have a few complaints about the phone, but honestly, it's things that can get fixed over time, and they should be getting fixed over time. If you're somebody with a 14 or a 15, I would honestly say hold off. It's probably not worth the money unless you absolutely need the 16 for some reason. Maybe you're a developer and you need the hardware and you need to simulate with the hardware, or maybe you're somebody who uses all of the processing power for playing video games. Otherwise, I just really don't think it's worth the money upgrading from a 14 or a 15. If you're on a 15 Pro, you get Apple Intelligence and you basically get all of the features that iPhone 16 has. And if you're on a 14, the performance really isn't that crazy unless you just really want Apple Intelligence. Now, otherwise, I think the 3 to 4 year mark is a pretty good time to wait before even considering upgrading your iPhone. I went from a 12 to a 16, and honestly, I'm happy I did. The 13 to 14 and the 15 really just weren't big enough improvements for me to upgrade, and the 16 was finally enough on top of what the 12 had to upgrade. Let me know what you guys think about your experience with the iPhone 16 so far in the comments down below. I really appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you next time.